You were getting new headlines in from Samsung about what it is planning, reviewing the possibility of creating a holding company, planning to raise a 2016 dividend. Talk to us about the highlights based on what's just crossed the wire.
Right. Yeah, these headlines are just crossing the wire right now. The big news I'd say out of this is that Samsung has decided it is going to return more cash to shareholders, specifically through dividends and through some share buybacks. It said in the past that it wants to return about 30 to 50% of its free cash flow to shareholders. As it's done that, the amount of cash that it has on hand has increased. So now it's saying that it's going to go to the very top end of that range. 50% of its free cash flow is going to go back to shareholders, either through dividends or through buybacks. It's going to begin by increasing the dividend for 2017 by 36%. It's also going to move from a twice-a-year dividend to a 4 times a year dividend. So it's going to increase that. In addition to that, they say that by next year they're going to nominate an independent director with global experience to their board, and they're also going to look at some of these structural changes, including the split into a holding company and an operating company.
Now, David, you believe that Samsung's current corporate governance structure is archaic and simply just can't survive in this day and age.
Thank you for characterizing my views. I absolutely am amazed that Samsung has done as well as it has as this secretive, family-controlled company that is caught up in all of the relatively questionable governance issues that Korean business in general suffers from, and they're now hit by the double whammy of having had a disastrous product development that is going to lose them at least $6 billion this year, plus being in an environment in Korea where the relationship between government and business is highly suspect because of this extreme corruption scandal that's happening with the president, and it involves Samsung among other companies. So I think they have to go a lot further than what this new news suggests they might do. One outside director, that's not enough. They need probably, as I think Elliott has proposed, to go public in the United States to really have the transparency that comes with the kind of company they're competing with, which is Google and Apple and companies like that. I really think that is one of the main reasons why they had this big problem with the Note 7, which was an inexcusable corporate problem to have.
Peter, A, would you agree with that? And B, now that we are 2 months on from the recall, do we have a better idea of just how devastating or how big an impact the recall will have on Samsung over the holidays and, in the long-term future?
Well, certainly the Note 7 crisis is a big blow to the company and its reputation, and it hurts them in the holiday period where they felt like they had an opportunity to compete with Apple more effectively in particular. We talked with some of Samsung shareholders before this news came out, and they were speaking out publicly for some of the changes that Elliott was proposing. They would agree with the point that corporate governance at Samsung has not been very strong. There are these interwoven holdings at the company. The company needs more outside directors. And one investor that we talked to in particular was saying that he thinks there's a direct connection between poor corporate governance and the poor performance recently with the Note 7 fiasco and getting drawn into this political scandal within South Korea also. So they do want more independent voices on the board. They want to open up the company a bit and push for some of these changes. They are going to be happy with Samsung's move to return more cash to shareholders, but they would like to see more independent voices on the board.